So here we are, stuck in 35 knots of wind that came out of nowhere. It was due to arrive tomorrow. When it hit, I was in my shorts, so I had to run downstairs while the autopilot wasn't working and try to get some waterproofs on before the boat was taken off course. Within 10 to 15 minutes, the shackle on the davits broke off and the dinghy fell into the water. The solar panel ripped off the bimini because the wood was rotten, and I couldn't open up my mobile phone to see navionics because my hands were too wet. So I was navigating blind. Yeah, lots of lessons learned, which we'll talk about a little later. Okay, so got a lot darker, a lot quicker than I thought. So it's only like 9:45 and it's pitch dark. Um, the moon's amazing though. You probably saw, I'll show it to you now, or I'll do a little overlay, but it's incredible. I've got the Genoa up. There's I didn't let it out fully though. I kept a couple of furls in it, or whatever you call it. I don't think you call it reefs. I think you call it like furling, do you? Anyway, whatever. So yeah, a little bit eerie. You kind of start overthinking a few things when it gets to nighttime. Well, I do anyway. I was like looking at the life raft. I was like, I don't know how that life raft works. So just small things like that. I know it sounds silly, but yeah. But listen, I can see land over there, so obviously that is somewhat reassuring. Yeah, nighttime's just a bit weird. Like every noise feels a bit weirder, and every sound feels a bit eerie, and you know. But it's nice to get used to it. So yeah, my first ever night sail, all by myself. Well, polo obviously, but you know what I mean. Alrighty, you're probably asleep right now, all of you people. Okay, so it is just gone 4 a.m. I cannot sleep at all. I'll just turn down the football here because I'm watching the World Cup. Tried to do the whole 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, but I can't sleep. So yeah, just had a bit of a coffee earlier and doing a bit of work on the laptop. And yeah, I know I'm not supposed to be out here at night time with the orcas, but you know, I think maybe people are being a little bit dramatic with that whole situation, if I'm honest. Touch wood. But yeah, I think, you know, we need to share the ocean together, so see how it goes. Good morning. Pretty much good morning. It's around 5:30. Had a bit of a scare. The autopilot went crazy about 20 minutes ago. The autopilot's so bad, but it just went berserk, and I was like, oh my god, the orcas are here. It just like it went left and then it went right, and the autopilot had been working really well, you know, for the few hours before, so I was just like, oh, my heart just sank, but it was just the autopilot. I don't know what went. I think it's behaving now, but yeah, just not what I not what I needed. I need a new autopilot so badly. It's horrific. But yeah, it's a beautiful morning. I think we'll kind of crack on straight to Cádiz and maybe spend the night in Cádiz tonight. I think I need to do a little bit of planning for the weather window through the Strait of Gibraltar, because I've heard that I've not heard, I read that the tides and the wind can be quite nasty, so yeah, it might be worth just stopping in for a night, checking out Cádiz, and getting up early tomorrow morning and get going, which should be quite cool. But yeah, it's morning time now. The night went pretty well. No sleep, so I'm not sure what I'll do today. Do I sleep today or wait till tonight and have no sleep? I'm not sure, but I'll figure that out as well. Okay, speak later. Well, it's a gorgeous sunrise, but I'm so tired. I'm gonna try to sleep, but Polo just ran to the top of the boat, so that's slightly annoying. Anyway, try to sleep once he comes back. Second fish of the day. Yes! My first 2 fish. I didn't film the first one because I'm good at it, but here we go again, baby. Look at this. An Atlantic bonito. It is boiling, like sweaty. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. For me, it was amazing. Caught my first fish, 2 fish actually, an Atlantic bonito, I think it's called. They say online that it tastes like tuna. It looks like tuna. I definitely need to get better knives for filleting it, but you know, I did a decent job with the boat rolling. Nearly fell in actually, which wasn't great. But Polo's just in bad mood. He's just like, even though he's had his hair cut, he's a bit hot and he just won't go to the bathroom. I'm trying everything with him, but he just won't go to the bathroom on the boat. So that's another 24-hour trip without him going to the bathroom, which isn't good for him. I haven't slept, but eyes are definitely feeling a bit droopy. But I suppose the energy of it just getting me through. So, yeah, wind is just 0 basically, 3 knots. So we will arrive in Cádiz in about 2.5 hours, and we will stay the night there. Yeah, I need to go buy some things to cook my fish, like make homemade breadcrumbs and fish tacos, and yeah, so excited about that. So that's going to be this evening, cooking with Marco Polo, and then tomorrow morning we'll get up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. and get going and get through the Strait of Gibraltar. There's a big storm coming Friday. I've been terrible today. I've not taken very many videos because I was so tired. But here we are. Just kind of worried about those rocks over there. It feels like we're kind of close to them, but I don't know. We're at very low tide now, so I've got 16 feet of water below me. I've got probably 30 meters of chain out. I think even if I was to swing fully, it would be fine. And then we're at like lowest tide, so I suppose I could move back. I think I'm good. Anyway, I'm just so tired. I just don't want to make a mistake, And there's no one else anchored here, which is not good. Anyway, we're gonna get up early in the morning and get going and get into the med. Yeah, again, apologies. I haven't been good on the camera today. I'm just absolutely wrecked. I haven't slept 1 hour, not 1 minute. My eyes are puffy, kind of moody. So yeah, it's just the night shift is tough when you're not used to it and you can't sleep. But at least we got a good sunset. Alright guys, night night. Well, a pretty rough start to the morning. Got up at 5 a.m. thinking everything would be perfect. Went to change over the fuel valves in the tanks and just have this continuous beeping sound. Okay, I think I have located the buzzing noise. Now I don't want to disconnect it in case the engine stops, but hey! Let's see. I didn't have much of a weather window. So I have an alarm all
Bloody day. It's so annoying. But basically, when I went to change the valves, the air got stuck in the fuel line, so I had to bleed it dry, which was a good lesson. Um, but yeah, it's just super annoying. Sorry, this is not really good. Super annoying noise now. So, yeah, there was just a weather window I had to make because I think it's gusting up to like 45, 50, 55 knots through the Strait of Gibraltar on Friday. So I just need to get out of here because you never know, it could come a bit early. So here we are, Mr. Polo, my watermelon. We have left Cádiz. It would be a beautiful day for sailing, but the wind is right on the nose and we need to stay within 20 meters because of the orcas. Anyway, I'm a bit flustered this morning, so we'll chat later. All right, so it's such a shame that you have to stay so close to the coast. So just purely because of the orcas, the direction I have to go in, it's straight into the wind. Like the wind is right on my nose. But it's a gorgeous day. It's like 15, gusting like 22, 23 knots. I'd just love to be sailing with the engine off. The sun is shining. But what I've noticed is there's pros and cons of having a very heavy boat. And I don't really care about the cons of having to go to the marina every now and then, because this beast going straight into the waves is just boom. It's like piercing a knife through them. It's so stable, straight line. And like I went by another boat there that was going, it was getting destroyed, you know. So listen, you take the good with the bad. And yeah, there's a couple of sailing boats out today, which is nice and reassuring, because yesterday I was on my lonesome. Always like seeing another boat, especially just going through this orca territory. It's not that like, you know, it's just in the back of your mind, really. So yeah, still a bit tired. Had a nap there, but my dad woke me up with a phone call, and we will make our way along the coast and into the Mediterranean this evening, which I think is quite an accomplishment. I'm kind of, well, touch wood, I'm not proud of myself just yet, but we're nearly there. All right, chat later. We're getting pretty battered here. We're going into 25 knots of wind, and yeah, I better get back to the autopilot. It's not working. It's going all over the shop. But all in all, it's pretty terrible.
So here we are, back to this little mini storm I found myself in. And I didn't want to talk about it straight away because I feel like people can dramatize the situation in the heat of the moment. So it was a good lesson, and I'm glad it happened. It caught me off guard. Maybe I could have been a little bit more prepared. I really just thought it was going to arrive tomorrow, and that's why I left early. The thing is, nothing in life is ever perfect. And even though I've been through a lot of challenges in the first 2 or 3 weeks, without the challenges, you don't get to enjoy the good moments. When you arrive at a beautiful anchorage, or you wake up in the morning and the sea is flat calm and you get to jump into the water straight from your little home, that's kind of the bliss that anyone who lives on the ocean really loves. And you got to deal with some of this stuff. So maybe an overused term, but it is what it is. You know, the one thing I've learned in life is that there is nothing perfect. You take the good with the bad, and you know, the good only tastes good because you've experienced what bad is. No life is perfect. When I was running my business, there was, you know, multiple moments of stress and a few good moments. For me, eventually, the moments of stress just weren't worth it to go through for those moments of good. But I think for now anyway, I'll continue sailing. You know, the good is still outweighing the bad, and it wasn't that big of a deal. you know, I know people will have comments about I should have secured the dinghy better and, you know, maybe I'm not as prepared as I should be, but I can only learn all of this as I go through it. So yes, I am in the process of actually changing the tender, getting davits that are going to support that tender better. I'm going to put solar panels, the bigger ones at the back of those davits, and a new bimini. So I'm learning. Be patient with me. I'll keep sharing the journey. It's not that big of a deal. Let's not dramatize it. Everything turned out all right. It was 2 hours of experiencing what 35 knots plus of wind is. And overall, I'm just glad I got to experience that. So onwards. Okay, well, a little bit shook. Might be able to see. The solar panel got blown off. Crazy. It was gusting up to like 36 knots, I think, at the most, and just through the Strait of Gibraltar where it gets narrow, the waves were head on, the wind was head on. It was nuts. You can see the little tender as well. It fell off its hinges, and I thought I was going to lose it, but thankfully I didn't. Yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit later because lots to learn, but I'll just show you where we are now. So we're going through the Strait of Gibraltar right now. Over there. Yeah, so it was unexpected. I'm glad it happened. And we'll talk about it later, okay?
Everything you've said is needs to be better. I need to look to shop. Now, the other two get a chance. Let's see what they've
So just looking at a bunch of dolphins swimming around the boat here in the bay.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Right, so where are you heading to? Where are you meeting Chris? Are you in Solid?
Made it to Gibraltar, but it's been one of those days. Oh my god. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Anyway, we're out of gas, so I bought a little small thing and I'm just making some burgers. Trying to dry all the clothes from today. Oh man. So yeah, just one of those days. Where to even start? A little bit red as well. But anyway, listen, the positive is we made it. We've pretty much made it to the med. We just got to go around that rock over there. It was a wild experience. Grateful for it. Nothing terrible happened, but lots of stuff happened. So yeah, anyway, I'm absolutely wrecked, so I'm gonna make some burgers, tidy up the boat a little bit because it's a mess after the waves and everything, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so we are leaving Gibraltar, and it is about 11:30 a.m. It was nearly impossible to find a marina along the Spanish coast, starting from Sotogrande, which was the kind of, didn't want to go there because it's not that close to Marbella, and I have a few friends in Marbella, but all of the ports around Marbella, Fungarola, all had no space for me. And they didn't even want to help, you know what I mean? I think when they find out, like, you've got a boat like this with no stern access and it's quite heavy, they're just like, oh no. So I'm sure they could fit you in if they wanted to, you know what I mean? Anyway, supposedly Sotogrande have a spot, but no power, no shore power. I don't use much power anyway, so it should be fine. I have the engines running at the moment and I have a bit of solar. So it's about a 3 to 4 hour sail. Now there are gusts, it looks like up to 20-25 knots, and you know, we all know that can be a little bit wrong like yesterday was. So I will just, I think, I'm on a bit of a reach, so rather than like open up the sail bag and everything, I'll just open up the Genoa, I think, and just go along nicely. If I can do 4 knots, that'd be brilliant, because the wind dies down a little bit later, so I prefer to arrive a little later. Rather than like 3-4 p.m., I'd rather arrive at like 6-7 p.m. So that's the updates. Lots to do on the boat once we arrive in Sotogrande. Fix the solar panel, which reminds me I need to take that down right now, I forgot to. Sort out the dinghy situation, and a few other bits and bobs. Alright, so we'll go past the Rock of Gibraltar, which I'll show you shortly, and then we'll head on up the coast. Hey, we did it! The Rock of Gibraltar. We did it! Yes, Polo! Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Just going by it now. And who would have thought, eh? Did it all by ourselves. I thought maybe initially I'd get like 1 stint. Sorry, the wind is blowing. I thought initially I'd get 1 stint, but without Tanichi, like the captain, but I did the whole thing. Just amazing. Whoa! Okay, right, we'll go back to sailing. That's it. Gone past it. I don't know if we're like officially in the Mediterranean or whatever. Maybe we have been for a little bit, but that's my official Mediterranean crossing point. So yeah, super chuffed, you know? Super chuffed. Especially after yesterday. You know? Lots to learn, lots to learn, lots to learn. But listen, I did something, you know? Well, as we pass the Rock of Gibraltar, we are cooking my little fish that I caught the other day. Give some to you in a minute. What a great day. Okay. Well, we're sailing. We're only doing about 3 knots, not a huge amount of wind. Weather forecast is a little bit off. But it's nice not to be in a rush anymore, have to dodge orcas, and you can just let up both sails and, you know, do your best to pop along. Unfortunately, the Rock of Gibraltar is just there, is covered in clouds. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna make our way to Sotogrande now. I might have to turn on the engine at some point if I want to get in there before dark. But yeah, I suppose we'll chat when we get to Sotogrande. But it's good to be on the med. Okay, so a lovely little bit of a sail, about an hour. I had some food, but we were only doing about 3 knots, so I needed to get the engine on then. Anyway, we're just approaching Sotogrande Marina. They said there's a nice place for me, but let's see. Sometimes these people on the VHFs don't sound the friendliest, and you never know till you get into the marina. But I asked for access on the side because I don't have any stern access. So anyway, let's see. I'll probably turn on the GoPro, which is mounted just behind us, and you can see what my parking skills are like. Good morning. So we have left Sotogrande. We are en route to Marbella, maybe Fungarola. We will see what the anchorage is like once we get up there. There's not much wind today. Might be a little bit as the day progresses, but unfortunately it's not at a great angle. So I'm kind of going to go veer out a little bit into the ocean before, well, the sea, Mediterranean Sea, before maybe trying to have like a tight sail down to Marbella if I can. I don't know how far this boat can point, etc. So I suppose we'll figure that out, but I'm kind of tired of using the engine now after all of the orca dodging. So yeah, I'm really getting a feel for how high she can point, which is great. But another thing I just realized is just out here in the ocean and there's just no one here. It's like one of the most beautiful parts of our planet, and like I'm a complete newbie and, you know, getting the hang of it obviously, but you know, still lots to learn. But I just can't believe how vast this ocean and sea is, and just no one uses it. Like, I thought it's start of July now and there's just no one out here. It's incredible, really. Yeah, it does. Listen, I looked at some of the stats just out of interest. I think 25 times more people have climbed Everest than sailed around the world, and that's a pretty niche thing in and of itself. So the fact that 25 times more people have done that than sail around the world just shows you how few people do it. And I wonder why more people don't get into sailing. Maybe something I'll look into over the coming months, but to me it's maybe the most peaceful thing I've ever done in my life. And the fact that hardly anyone in the world utilizes this crazy ocean is just baffling to me, you know? And people will talk about the price. Like, this particular boat is probably 5 times cheaper than the cheapest one-bed apartment in London. So don't come at me with the money thing. Like, I'm living on this and it's like 5 times cheaper than the cheapest one bed in a decent area in London, I would say. Anyway, I suppose you have these thoughts when you're out on the ocean. So, well, got the Genoa up. We're doing about 3 knots. I should have trusted myself. You know, I was going to head out that way a little bit and then, you know, come back at a different angle. But even at the angle we're going now, we're actually doing 3 knots, and that's just with the Genoa up. So if I had the mainsail up, oh, I'm so annoyed. I basically talked to this guy in Sotogrande who's a bit of a sailor. You know, he lives on his boat, and he's like, oh, you'll never get across to Marbella on an easterly. And I was like, all right, okay. But I was looking at predict wind, and I was looking at like the different wind angles, and you know, I actually think if I, you know, motor out a little bit and then turn in, it'll be fine. And he's like, oh, don't be wasting your time, you'll never do that. So I listened to him and I just like kept the engine on. And then I was like, just feeling the wind angle. I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure I can get going here. And lo and behold, literally on the wind angle that I was motoring, I'm able to sail perfectly. So there's the wind angle. I don't know if you can see that, but probably not. Anyway, that's Marbella, straight in front. I think we might have dolphins again, which I always love. Hello, guys.
What that does? Yes, it will be leading by the end of the lap.
That was the slowest qualifier, by the way.
I would say it's not the best anchorage. It's about 20 knots of wind. Oh, sorry, 15 knots of wind. It was 20 knots on the approach. I'm watching the F1. I'm in about 5 meters and then 1.5 meters to where my anchor chain starts. About 6.5 meters. Oh, F1 starting. I'll talk later. Oh, good evening. Anchored here by myself. It's not the best anchorage. It's boats moving around a lot. But you know, this part of the coast in Spain is just not built for sailing, really. In the sense of, you know, being able to anchor and be off-grid, so to speak. I tried to drain the water diesel separator thing that was the buzzer earlier. I drained it, but the red light is still on. Feeling a little bit down, I would say. Just because it's just God, I don't know really. I just want to get to the Balearics, you know. I think it's just been a tough couple of weeks, you know, obviously on the Atlantic and all of the things that are breaking, and yeah, I just want to get into the Balearics where I can kind of relax for about a month, and in kind of anchorages that are nature's marinas, if you want to call them. Like, they're built for boats to have a nice night's sleep, etc. And yeah, and just maybe find myself a little home in Mallorca, where there's a place I can stay like a week or two, or you know, just do little day sails. Anyway, yeah, so I suppose there's no point thinking about it too much, but not everything goes perfect, and I never want to like portray this as like the greatest life ever. There's obviously, you know, ups and downs like anything you do.